go. It's a success. Today my bed greenhouse is getting a cleanup and some much needed modifications. This greenhouse was built in the late summer of 2024. It was built using a carport, one of those covered carports that had blown down. I had it covered with a vinyl tarp to just provide a rain shelter for my tractor. But once that blew over, I repurposed it and built it up. The carport was larger. I ended up cutting it down to the dimensions of about 11 feet wide by 14 feet long. I did cover it in a thick plastic that's made for greenhouses. I built a solid north wall out of scrap pieces. Everything on here was built with what I had on hand, except for the wrapping and a few minor things. It is covered, I believe this is a 40% shade cloth. Since it was built in the summer, I really didn't need a door at the time. This door was improvised when wintertime came, and it's wrapped in commercial grade saran wrap that I had on hand from probably 25 years earlier when I worked in the restaurant business. So this door, it is going to need some of the polycarbonate like I have on the front here. That'll be one of the improvements. Inside, obviously I need to clean it out. That'll be the first step on the agenda, and it's getting way too hot in here already. We are at 110 degrees, and that's right by the front door. So some of the plants I have in here to keep them out of the wind are taking some heat abuse. I do have a spot up here, I believe maybe either here or here. I'm going to put in an exhaust fan to help circulate some of that air. Now I did build the greenhouse around these garden beds that I had in place already, so it was kind of a pain. In retrospect, I wish I had built the greenhouse first and then put in some beds. As a side note, there's a little bit of cabbage growing down there. That cabbage was planted in the fall/early winter of 2024. I did not realize that it would continue to grow back time and again, but it has been neglected. It gets really, really hot in here, and the cabbage was initially infected with a lot of bugs, so we did manage some harvest off of it, but it kind of got abandoned after that, partially due to the heat and partially due to us being so busy. A lot of the destruction you see in there was, funny enough, caused by some little piglets we had running around in our yard. When they were small, they stayed in our fenced-in yard area, and they found the Swiss chard, and they just kind of wrecked what was left in there. So, funny story. And this is going to go to the compost. Now, when I built this out, I did frame in the front wall so that I could put an appropriate door in. So there's a little bit of my framing skills. Not fantastic, but it works very well. Okay, let's unbox this V4 exhaust fan and see what I need to do to get it installed. Yes, it's been sealed for the last 8 months. Let's hope everything's still in the box, because I'm sure I cannot return it at this point. This is a shuttered fan. Let's see. I believe it goes like that. This will be on the outside. So back there, this is what we'll see. When the fan kicks on, then the shutters will blow open. And when the fan goes off, the shutters will close, and that'll keep rain and bugs, other things from getting inside. Looks like I'm going to be installing it from the inside, screwing it up, wiring it up. This one is not thermostat controlled, so I will put a switch on it, or I'll just unplug it when I don't need it on. Okay, let's rip into that wall because I don't remember exactly where my studs are. I have an idea, but let's rip into it and see where we need to put this. Okay, so I really would like for that vent to go right up here, and handily enough, this piece of packing cardboard that they sent with the fan, the exhaust fan, is the same size as the inside edges, minus the flange. So we're going to test it out and see if this will be the spot that it will fit. Ooh, look at that, just perfect. I want it up high, so it's going to take some of that heat and shoot it out. So let's pry off some of this trim here and see if it will work. Plastic guard is stapled all along the way. I did fill the walls with cardboard. Poor man's insulation for a greenhouse. Okay, I've got a 2x4 here that I put in for blocking, so I'd have something to nail to. I've got a 2x4 part of the stud wall, and then a 2x4 part of the stud wall as well for the roof framing. So it looks like I'll fit in here. I just need to check one more time. Well, that looks like it was almost made to fit. I went ahead and marked my cut line for where the fan is going to go, and the cut line for the opposite side of the 2x4 blocking, because I do not want to lose all of my wall insulation. So I'll cut both sides there so I can put my board in, and then I'll still have some insulation up top, and same thing over here. And then I can finally cut this plastic that is being a pain in the butt this whole time. Put it back, and then I will probably drill through the corners so I can go around to the back side and jigsaw cut out my outside opening. Here's a closer look at that cardboard insulation. So it's not filling the entire cavity. It's not 3.5 inches thick, but it is pretty thick. I pulled off 4 layers for those cuts, and this is a pretty thick cardboard. It's not your normal Amazon boxes. And I do have them compressed here so they don't fall, but they do normally swell out a little bit and kind of fill that airspace in there. I have one piece of blocking just standing in place. I'm going to cut the second one. I do have this corner notched out somewhat. Had to recut several times, and I've made the highly questionable decision to go ahead and use my multi-tool to cut out this opening from the inside. It is infinitely slower, but I don't have to move my ladder. I'm already up here, and I can make sure that I at least get close to my lines. All right, here we go. I'll trim up that corner. And let's see, that's a lot more square than it looks on camera. Boom. When I initially cut this top piece up here, it looked like it was about a 1/2 inch too short, so I grabbed another piece and cut it. Well, the piece that I grabbed was the piece that I'd already cut for this. So this looks like it'll fit up here. Got the angle on it pretty decent, and I did what any good repurposer would do. I found my cutoff piece, put some wood glue, and pin nailed it back into place. So this will go here, this will go up here, and I will trim off that excess and toe screw these into place. Okay, just a quick shot of this because it's ugly, but it's framed on all 4 sides now, cut all the way through. I'm gonna fold the plastic back over, cut it from the other side so it's a little prettier, and then I'll install that fan. The plastic sheeting is back in place. I'm going to go on the other side and cut out our square. I'll see you in just a moment. Can I speak to you about your car's extended warranty? Now I'm going to just finish tacking off the edges. I'm going to test fit it one more time. I'm going to go look in one of my scrap piles and see if I can find some flashing or some drip edge for the outside. We'll pop the fan in, secure it. Here's a look at the outside. It is pretty recessed in there. I would definitely like some drip edging around it, around the bottom. Honestly, I'd love a cover that doesn't restrict the airflow out. Something almost like an RV vent cover. Who knows, maybe I have one of those laying around. Okay, first the plastic will go down, and I'll staple that, and then I'll put this piece on the outside after I've done up that inside edge. It's not in place, but here's kind of what I was thinking as a canopy to cover the top of the outside portion of the vent. Like I said, it's not fastened in yet, so it's going to be a lot more square, but that's just a rough fitment. Okay, we're finally making some progress now. I'm going to put that up for the last time. I'm going to screw it in. Then we'll go ahead and finish putting the trim back up where we can. And then we can wire it up. And that's how it works on the outside. Alright, now to the trim. I have a cordless stapler, but a corded nail gun. Alright. Well, is it perfect? No. Is it beautiful? No. Did I save a lot of time? Also no. Is it going to work? Absolutely. Okay, let's plug her in and see if she works. Yes. Fan's on, the louvers are open. It's a success. Now those of you with keen eyes will notice I did not show you myself doing the electrical work. I don't know if you're quite ready for my sketchy electrical wiring practices. I did use some wire nuts this time though. Electrical work is no joke. Let's look on the outside and then, well, let's get a close-up, then we'll look on the outside and we'll wrap up. So you can see it turning. Here's a look at the back side. I've already covered it back up with shade cloth, but you can see the cover. You can see that the louvers are open, and I can see the fan spinning. I believe it'll serve the intended purpose of helping vent out some of that hot air. Hopefully a lot of it. And we will find out if that's what happens. So, final thoughts for today. This was a project that I was going to do regardless today. I thought I would bring you along and film it. I don't know if this kind of content is something that you'd like to see. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you. I appreciate your persistence and putting up with my newness to this. When I turn this camera on, for some reason, I forget how to talk good. I promise you, I do know how to speak, but this camera makes me nervous as I'll get out. It does take a lot longer to film and to do the project, so I'm still learning on where to film, how to film. I am working with a tripod that I made, and hopefully I can improve some of these things and make the quality of the videos better. But if you've made it this far, please do me a favor, like this video, subscribe. My normal content has been around plants, plant starts. We do a lot of gardening. We do a lot of animals. I do a lot of farm work and construction work here on the farm as well. We have chickens, goats, pigs, cats, dogs. We do a little bit of everything, and so you've kind of got to be skilled in all kinds of different trades. So the fan was a success for today. I do still have more work on the greenhouse. I do need to fix the door that we looked at earlier, and hopefully this fan will keep it cool enough in here I can start putting a lot of my plant starts that I pot up. We've got markets coming up, and in my area we sell a lot of plants, a lot of plant starts. You'll be seeing everything from squashes and zucchinis to melons, lots of different peppers, and lots of different tomatoes. So there will be a good variety of different things. You've seen some cool weather crops already. It's already getting super hot in Texas, as you see. I apologize, my appearance is probably not great right now. Since heat rises up there where I was working a lot, it was definitely a lot hotter. This project took way longer than I intended, but it is complete, and it was something that was necessary because it's a shame that we could not use this big greenhouse because of the heat during the summer. Thank you again for putting up with me today, and I hope to see you again soon.